Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Bearable Bull here. And I got this aggressively average content for you today, as finally, the crypto industry has stepped up, and Coinbase in the US Circuit Court is filing a lawsuit against the SEC for a rulemaking petition they filed last July asking for regulatory guidance for the crypto industry. Needless to say, ladies and gentlemen, after the grilling of Gary Gensler, Coinbase feels emboldened to step up and finally come up to the plate. As opposed to cucking out to everything the SEC's doing, they're finally realizing it's not just an anti-Ripple and XRP attack. It's an attack against all of crypto. Coinbase is stepping to the plate. And all this means to me, as an XRP holder and a general crypto investor, is that the industry is finally stepping up to the plate and working together. And from what I can tell, regulatory clarity is so close. The House Financial Services Committee has also released a new draft legislation to regulate stablecoin issuers. And this is important because stablecoins are going to play a pivotal role in the next generation financial system. This bill also states that stablecoins are not securities and should not be regulated by the SEC. And as we got that news, we have the news that Visa has partnered with Circle to push stablecoin payments. See, ladies and gentlemen, with the grilling of Gary, stablecoin regulation, and the potential clarity we're going to get from this judge decision in this Ripple case, we're all so close to something special. In my personal opinion, this lawsuit was used as a weapon. The SEC, they've always wanted to rein in all of crypto. And the Bitcoin maxis, as much as they want to say they're pro-freedom, they're as much in bed with regulators as anybody. Just to listen to the Collusion by the backed CEO and how he has zero plans to list XRP at all, despite it being one of the biggest cryptos on the planet.
Can I ask about one digital currencies in particular, which is XRP, created by Ripple? Obviously, it's under some pressure right now from regulators. Coinbase has dropped it from its exchange. Does BAC currently support trading of...
It's not on our platform, no.
Because of the controversies or for some other reason?
It's just not on our platform.
But there must be a reason. It's the third largest market cap cryptocurrency in the world.
We entered the crypto space through Bitcoin, and that was the first currency we've made available. We have others that are scheduled to come on board as part of the product development, but XRP is not available.
Is XRP one of those that are scheduled to come on at some point? Is it on the roadmap?
No, it's not coming on at all.
It's not coming on at all. That is the narrative they want to purport. It's not coming on at all. They hate Ripple and XRP so much in crypto that they don't even have plans to add it to their business. The XRP community is cult-like. We stand together. We go to anything that supports our digital asset, and what they decide to do is act emotionally and not put on their platform something that could make them serious money. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. It's part of the corruption in crypto and politics as a whole. And here, Warren Davidson stated that SEC has a structural problem and Gary Gensler is the biggest part of it. He stated here on this CoinDesk interview, he has a proposal to restructure the SEC and fire Gary Gensler. And I want you all to listen to this quick clip, because if it happens, the crypto industry will grow fantastically. Gary is the biggest hurdle crypto is facing right now. And if he ends up being forced to leave, innovation will thrive.
Congressman Warren Davidson, welcome.
Good morning.
Nice to see you again. Okay, well, let's get right into this. This is a very bold proposal. Now, Gary Gensler is not very popular within the cryptocurrency community, but you are making a much bolder statement. You were saying he has a record of failures. Can you just outline for us in sort of the most objective way, what are these failures that you are pointing to?
Yeah, I think Gensler's failures highlight this. There's a structural problem. There's a Gary Gensler problem, but there's also a structural problem with the Securities and Exchange Commission. And really, you go back years ago, they went to a strong chairman. The original structure was the commission, and so he's front running the entire market, whether it's Congress, the House, the Senate, Treasury, the CFTC, and it's all to try to gain jurisdiction. And instead of acknowledging that he needs to work with Congress to get clarity for digital assets, I've called it like similar to Hotel California, not the exact lyric, but you can check in with the SEC, but you can never leave.
And ladies and gentlemen, that's ultimately what it's all about. You could check in with the SEC but never leave. This is so important that it's being pointed out by an American congressman, and that laws are being passed to potentially reform the SEC, because right now, it's a global battle. The Brics nations have 19 additional nations on top of everyone else who have submitted membership requests to try and join Brics. It just started off with 5 massive economies, and even more have been applying. The reason this is so important is because the dollar is under severe threat. And if you're an American in the United States, this is getting to a critical point. Our livelihoods as we know it could be coming to an end. Not right now, not next year, but soon. I bring this up because we're at a point on the global stage where, quite honestly, the Brics nations are talking about gold-backed currencies. The convertibility of these gold-backed currencies is going to be a major talking point. Russia is talking about enabling crypto-like settlements, and it's being rumored that the potential of Russia and the Brics nations to use XRP in some form of trade is on the table. Ladies and gentlemen, I've been criticized heavily by many XRP community members saying I'm fudding the community, I'm fudding XRP, because I've brought up David Schwartz and Ashish Burla debunking speculation. Don't blame me. These people are actual members of Ripple and actually have contributed to creating the XRP ledger. Different things that we have proposed in the community have been wrong. But if we're talking about technicalities, they're still on the table. I do believe at some point down the road, XRP will be used to help move the value of tokenized gold. And I think XRP will be in some way, shape, or form used to replace the current US dollar SWIFT-dominated system. Because of these things, I'm looking at how the Brics nations are rising, and they're trying to replace the dollar as the world's reserve currency. This is not a normal coalition. It's one that's looking to undermine our livelihood as Americans as we know it. And we're asleep at the wheel. No pun intended. The dude in charge of the country right now isn't even home. Now I say all that to say this. With the replacement of Gary Gensler coming, with the Ripple lawsuit case ending, with the Brics nations rising, the inevitable XRP storm is upon us. We're going to have a brief window of seeing upward price action. As I've mentioned before, I'll say it again. I believe that's coming. But the real growth and adoption for Ripple and XRP is coming in the next couple months, especially into 2024. I believe we will reach astronomical values. And at that point, the XRP army will be deemed as absolutely correct. We are the new 1%, and our perseverance and patience will be rewarded. Now, ladies and gentlemen, to cap off this video for today, I'm going to play you this clip from Peter St. Ong talking about how a Morgan Stanley analyst is talking about a stunning collapse in the US dollar coming and actually happening as we speak. The accelerated demise of our currency on the global stage is happening in real time, and not enough people are aware of it. Please take a listen and prepare while you can. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Bearable Bull here. Thanks for tuning in. As always, I appreciate every single one of you. Now I'll be back tomorrow with another video.
A top currency analyst warned last week that de-dollarization is happening faster than people realize. Indeed, that the dollar has already suffered a, quote, stunning collapse. Meanwhile, separate data from central banks around the world confirm that after decades of complacency, the landscape is shifting. The warning came from former Morgan Stanley analyst Stephen Jen, who finds that adjusting for price changes reveals the true speed of de-dollarization, specifically that the dollar's share went from 73% in 2001 to 55% in 2021, at which point it fell off a cliff, losing market share 10 times faster. The dollar plunged 8 percentage points in share in a single year to just 47%. So we lost about double the entire share of the Chinese yuan, and at that pace, the US dollar would be eclipsed in, about 6 years. So what happened in 2022? Simple. Sanctions. Last year, the US froze $300 billion in Russian central bank dollars. That's about $4 trillion in US terms, controlling for GDP. Keep in mind, these were Russia's sovereign dollars. They, and everybody else in the world, thought of them like gold. Now, this was something we hadn't even done during the Cold War, during the height of the Cold War, with hot proxy wars all over the world, because we were run by adults. Why did Biden do it? The goal was to cause bank panics and crash the Russian economy, perhaps to set off mass unemployment and civil unrest. Of course, it backfired. Instead, sending countries around the world in panicked flight from the dollar, lest the US wake up one morning after a spicy night on the town with some flashy new lobbyist and decide to collapse their country too. Perhaps ending in their president being torn into travel-sized pieces by a mob, like in Libya. Of course, it was one thing to do this to Libya, but here was a real country, and the weapon of choice was very precisely their own sovereign dollars. And so, overnight, the US dollar went from the world's rock-solid store of value to a political football held hostage to whichever lobbyist or activist caught Joe Biden's eye this week. Where did all those dollars go to? That flight went to the next best thing, the yen, the euro, and to gold. Together, the yen and euro's price-adjusted reserve share soared 5 points over the year, so they gobbled up about 2/3 of what the dollar lost. Now, both Japan and Europe do have inflation, just like America. Japan is running at a big in Japan, 3.5 points. Europe is closer to 8.5. But both currencies have the very appealing feature that they do not topple your country when they don't like your foreign policy. As for gold, a separate article in today's FT reports that central bank gold buying is off the charts. Literally up 152% year on year in 2022, and it is now at 1,136 tons, almost double the record high. The FT, like Jen, blames the sanctions for driving countries off the dollar and into anything else that will hold water. So what is next? If reserve assets are fleeing the dollar, while trade is methodically shifting to bilateral currencies, helped by China, the last man standing on the dollar wall is financial flows, the lubricant in global commerce. These have unique network effects, but they also have unique and growing regulatory risks, which I will have to cover in another video. So bottom line, if the US dollar does continue on this path, we will see soaring inflation, a catastrophic fall in American standard of living, and a US that falls off the world stage, not by choice, but by necessity. All of it, 100% our own making. All right, we'll be watching. See you next time.
Why do I hold XRP? Because Ripple's the chosen one to lead the new global digital payment system, and they use XRP. In 2013, the Federal Reserve began looking for faster payments options. 2 years later, an action plan was born and a federal payments task force was created. It included one company focused on crypto, Ripple. In 2014, the World Bank and Better Than Cash Alliance, which includes the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, Clinton Global Initiative, and the governments of 32 countries, put out a report called The Opportunities of Digitizing Payments. 1 year later, the Better Than Cash Alliance featured one crypto company on their website, Ripple. Today, Better Than Cash Alliance and all other UN initiatives are focused on a single agenda, the Sustainable Development Goals for 2030. You can see the SDGs logo on Bill Gates' lapel, world-leading companies, the Better Than Cash Alliance website, and on the UN's official exchange, Exchange. What crypto is Exchange officially utilizing for their carbon credit solution? XRP. The world will move to a new international standard for exchanging electronic messages between financial institutions by 2025 called ISO 20022. Who was the first ISO 20022 member focused on distributed ledger technology? Ripple. Who's partnered with over 300 financial institutions, including Bank of America, American Express, PNC, Santander, SBI, HSBC, Standard Chartered Bank, Bank of England, India, Singapore, Scotland, Australia, and Indonesia, the largest banks in Japan, Canada, Egypt, the Middle East, United Arab Emirates, Thailand, Morocco, Bhutan, South Korea, Brazil, and Latin America? Ripple. Who is a former employee overseeing the Federal Reserve? Ripple. A former employee overseeing the world's largest asset manager, BlackRock's digital asset division? Ripple. Leading Australia's CBDC effort? Ripple. Who hired a former Treasury of the United States? Ripple. 2 former Federal Reserve attorneys to their board? Ripple. 2 former Clinton and Obama advisors? Former Minister of Defense and Economics of Germany? Former business director at Swift? Former Swift board member? Former CFO of PayPal? Former head of the DTCC? Former chief business officer at Uber? Former VP of Amazon and former SEC chair on their legal team? Ripple. Who's a member of the Digital Pound Foundation, Digital Dollar Project, Digital Euro Association, Mojaloop, IMF's high-level advisory board on fintech, Hyperledger Blockchain Consortium, Open Payments Coalition, Faster Payments Council, Global Payments Steering Group, Cross-Border Working Group, International Association for Trusted Blockchain Applications, Crypto Climate Accord, University Blockchain Initiative, World Wide Web Consortium, and a featured partner of the World Economic Forum with 3 members of their team directly listed on the WF website? Ripple. Now, does Ripple and XRP sound like they're going to disappear, or do they sound like they're part of a much bigger plan? You decide.